Hello. Today I will be discussing the important events that occur in the chapter book called Half and Half by Lensey, Namioka. This book was published in 2003. It can be used to teach intermediate grade level students about choices in the culture of Chinese and Scottish heritage. First, we must understand the plot and the events that keep the book interesting. The book begins with a 12-year-old girl named Fiona, who is signing up for folk dancing lessons. When Fiona turns her sheet into the director, she notices that Fiona has not completed the race portion and she hands it back to her. See, for Fiona, this was the difficult part. Since she is both Chinese and Scottish, she did not want to check off a box that doesn't belong to her race, and only checking the other box would make her look and feel like an outsider. Throughout the story, Fiona struggles with her identity, especially when she decides to become part of her grandpa's Scottish dance team. For Scottish dancers, they either had very light skin or red hair. However, because of her jet black hair and facial features, Fiona did not look Scottish at all, and it was hard for her to accept that she was different from the rest of her team. In an attempt to fix her appearance, Fiona chooses to dye her hair blonde, but because her hair was so dark to begin with, the bleach turns her hair bright red, which she describes to look like red jello. Her brother Ron had red hair and light skin. He would look great in the Scottish dance team, and though their grandpa attempts to recruit Ron quite a few times in the story, Ron explains that wearing kilts and jumping over knives was just not for him. Later in the story, Fiona's father, who is the author and illustrator of his own children's books, reveals something important and special to Fiona. He tells her that he will be doing a book talk about his new book at the fair, and the brave main character is Fiona herself. She is honored that her father would do such a thing, but now she is faced to make a hard decision. Should she sacrifice dancing for her grandpa so she can appear on her father's book talk, or should she possibly risk letting her father down by telling him that she cannot appear at his presentation because she wants to dance on her grandpa's team instead? Only to add to the pressure, Fiona's grandmother reviews a beautiful Asian outfit that she has made for Fiona to wear during her appearance on her father's book talk. Now, Fiona feels as though she has no choice. If she chooses to dance at the annual folk fest, she will not only be letting her father down, but she will disappoint her grandmother, who has worked so hard to make her such a great costume. To keep things interesting, you will have to read the rest of the book to find out how Fiona finds a resolution to her problem. Through the characters in this book, readers will be introduced to different aspects of their culture. Readers will be able to see how their culture may be similar or different to Fiona's Chinese and Scottish heritage, which may help them develop respect for other ethnic groups that may be different from their own. For instance, because Fiona is biracial, she depicts qualities of other races that she believes to be better than her own. In her eyes, she appears to be more Chinese than Scottish, and she wants lighter skin, lighter hair, and smaller feet. Another example of how culture is expressed in this story is through Fiona's father and his mother. When he speaks to his mother, the tone of his voice sounds less like a man and more like a child. His childish ways can be explained through the Chinese culture. It is appropriate for males to pay their debt to their parents for raising them, which can also be known as budai. Even though not all readers will be just like Fiona, this book can be used in the classroom to help students who may be struggling to fit in, to learn to cope with their differences and find qualities about themselves that make them unique and special. Some thematic unique topics include identity, racially mixed people, and family. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that I have encouraged you to read this book to find out what Fiona decides to do in the end.